We got it.
We did it.
It only took 10 minutes. It only took 10 minutes.
Woo!
We got, okay, all right.
Let's
go. We don't wait, don't waste any time.
In celebration of kind of a new format for us.
Yeah.
This is food related.
It is.
So we can totally do it.
And I'm super excited. This is I can feel it right now. This is going to be like my favorite thing ever.
We do love talking about movies.
Yes, we do.
We talk about movies a lot.
As much as we love food and talking about it, we love talking about movies even more, I think.
We should probably have a movie channel. That's a conversation for another day.
TBD. Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
All
right. First of all,
welcome back.
Recognize.
First of all, welcome back to the Smoking Society. I'm your boy Luke, with my guy Anvil, rocking an awesome Cobra Kai shirt. Show it off. There you go. You had that before. It was cool, right?
I did, actually. Remember, I got this at the Chicago...
C2E2.
Yes.
C2E2. Yeah, I remember that.
That was a few years ago. I mean, obviously, pre-COVID, nothing happened, before or after COVID. No. But, yeah, I did. So, before the show came back, I got the shirt. So, boom, OG.
There you go. OG, Johnny Lawrence.
Deal with it.
But I'm excited, getting back on topic. I'm super excited because we're going to talk about the menu today. The menu. And for those that don't know, it is a new movie that just came out on HBO Max.
It's actually in theaters, though, too.
Oh, was it?
It is.
Okay. Well, I didn't. Okay. So, theaters, HBO Max, Ralph Fiennes, Nicholas Hoult, Anna Taylor-Joy. All three are awesome. And it's just, before we get into it, heads up, we're going to talk about it. We're going to give you our opinions on what we think, right? But
tons of spoilers.
Yeah, we're going to spoil the shit out of it.
They're coming.
Yep, we're going to spoil the hell out of it. So
we're not professional movie reviewers. No. We're just dudes that like movies.
Yeah.
Movies about food.
That's right. So here we go, right?
Here we go.
First of all, let's just the basics, right? What did you think? I mean, we both said we liked it, but what did you think? Give some detailed thoughts on it.
Well, let's start with yes, I loved the movie. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But let's give a quick rundown of the movie first.
Okay.
Spoiler heavy.
Yeah, okay.
Before I give my opinion on it. Because you know how I get with movies. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're surprised to hear that I enjoyed a movie.
Yeah.
Any movie that you like.
Yeah, I'm
your taste in movies is awful.
No, it's good. I'm surprised with a couple of things. One, that we both finally agree on a good movie.
Yeah.
Right? Two, that I actually like the movie without Tom Cruise in it. So that's a shocker.
It is.
Shocker.
Are you okay?
I mean,
has his publicist called yet and said, like, what's problem?
I did email him.
What are we doing wrong?
I did email him and apologize that, my movie watching isn't only of him.
So, quick rundown of the menu.
Yes.
Ralph Fiennes is a Gordon Ramsay type Wolfgang Puck super chef that is known the world over. He has a super exclusive restaurant that's super expensive, and you got to be on a list, and they only serve so many people. So all the people that you see on the screen there, they are at the restaurant. They are going to enjoy a meal, and there's all kinds of shenanigans going on with the meal. Yeah. So this movie is listed as a horror/comedy. I would definitely call it a dark comedy. Emphasis on the dark.
Yeah, definitely dark.
But it's
and I don't mean to, and I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm gonna let you go on. But for those that haven't seen it and are just watching this out of curiosity, go in blind. Go in blind. So if you haven't seen it, stop now, go watch it, then come back.
Why are you telling people to quit watching this?
They can come back. They come back and watch us.
Boom, there you go.
But pause it. You know what I mean?
Pause it right now.
Right.
Watch the movie, then come back in a few days.
Go in blind. It's the best way to go into it.
So here come the spoilers.
All right, go for it. Sorry.
So Ralph Fiennes, there he is, white coat. He's the chef. Two people in front of him. They're on a date. Ralph Fiennes, isn't it Rafe?
Ralph.
Are you sure it's
There's
Ralph?
an L there, so yeah.
All right. I agree. It's Ralph Fiennes.
It is?
Fiennes.
Fiennes.
And the red-haired chick,
Anna Taylor-Joy.
Anna Taylor-Joy. Don't know who she is. She's actually kind of the second main character. She gets the most screen time. And Beast, they're right with her. See?
You know,
what's his name?
Nicholas Hoult, man. That's my boy. I love Nicholas Hoult. He's great. And I can't wait to talk because he's one of my favorite things in the movie. One of my favorite parts in the movie. But
so they're on a date. They have to get on a boat to get to the island, to get to the restaurant, to eat all the food. And then you get this walk through this very elaborate, very, I don't know, trendy, self-sustaining place where they smoke all their meat, they grow all their vegetables, they do all this, they do all that.
It's a breakdown of the island, of how everything works.
Yes.
Where they get their stuff, how they make their stuff, so forth and so on.
Yes. There's a food critic there. There's an old couple there. There's a
bro dudes,
washed up actor. Yeah, some bro dudes, some finance guys, a washed up actor, and a whole cast of characters, right?
John Leguizamo.
Yes.
He's in it. How about that?
From Spawn.
Yeah. From Spawn. That classic gem, Spawn.
And 2 on 2.
There you go.
Yeah, buddy. John Leguizamo. I mean, he's been around a long time. So they sit down for their meal, and then the story starts to unfold once they get into the restaurant, and they start to see what's happening.
Yep.
So fire away, Luke. You're chomping at the bit. Tear it up, man. What do you?
Well, okay. Well, I mean, I was gonna say what you thought of it. That was a good breakdown, but that's fine. I'll take it. I really liked it. I went into it blind, which is why I told people that if you're still haven't seen it and you're watching this, sucks for you, because when the trailer came out, right, I started watching the trailer, and I think I got about 30-40 seconds in, and I'm just like, okay, something's not, like, this isn't going to be some cooking movie or something like that. There's going to be something about this that's off. And then I stopped it right there, and that was it. So I went into it blind. I knew that there was going to be some kind of twist, something, not everything is as it seems. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I stopped the trailer. I didn't watch the whole trailer, which I'm glad I didn't. I knew there was going to be something, not everything's as it seems. So I was glad to go into it like that. There was a lot of cool moments, a lot of cool surprises. The trailer doesn't give away much, but it does give away some. But overall, it was good. It was a nice build up, and they kept building and building and building to that end. And I like that. I wouldn't call this so much a slow burn, but it was definitely, something that took a while to reveal what was going on. Something was up. You just didn't know really what.
And I agree with that assessment. It's slow burn. No. No. They build the story. There's a traditional arc to the story where it peaks, to the apex climax, and then it comes down and it pays off. There's no loose ends in this movie. There is a beginning, there's an end to this movie, and it's satisfying from start to finish. They don't just, it's kind of like, horror movie, right? So in the sense that this is a horror movie, they don't just wheel Freddy Krueger out there in the first 5 minutes. Right. They build the suspense, like what's going on. You're like, who are these people? Like, what brought all these people together for this event? And on the surface, it's like, yep, they're just going to dinner, some exclusive restaurant, and yes.
Most of them. I'll get back to that. Go ahead.
And I'll jump back to the picture, not that one, sorry. Old boy right here.
Yes.
What's his name again?
Nicholas Hoult.
All right, Beast.
Oh,
he's revealed pretty much from the get-go about him, his character, what he is.
Oh, he's a
right.
douche.
No, I wouldn't say douche. I would call him fanboy.
Well, he's definitely
I would say he's a fanboy. He's a fanboy of our boy Ralph here.
Yeah, for sure.
The chef, fanboy. Like in foodie, he definitely knows food, right? But he's the guy taking pictures, putting them on Facebook, and probably his travel blog and things like that. So, yeah, maybe you could call him a douche,
He's a douche.
Fanboy, foodie guy.
Well, here's the thing. Like, the whole movie, I'm like, man, this guy's in love with this chef. He's all about him. He's the biggest fan. They tell him not to take pictures. They tell him not to be an ass. And he still does it. And I'm like, why? Right. Why? Like, your dreams come true. What the fuck are you doing? Well,
right. Well, and to that, yeah, like he's doing what he was asked not to do, and he's apologizing for it. He wants the chef's
No, but there's a reason he's doing it. It's because he knows what's going down. He knows what's going down. He knows what
he does. He does. But that is, I think, a major spoiler. Like if anyone's watching right now, let's not give away the ending.
Hey, we call it spoilers.
I understand that. Let's not give away the total ending of the freaking thing. You know,
that's what spoilers are. Man, we need to do a separate.
Well, if you want to be that guy, I'm
going to be that guy. We warned you.
Tell it right now, then everybody can just stop watching our video.
No, we warned you. We warned you.
But
they're not here for a synopsis. They're here to hear what we think.
But so let's jump in real quick. Rotten Tomatoes, since we're looking at this right now, I put this up here. And what's her name?
Anna Taylor-Joy.
What else has she been in?
The Witch.
Nope.
Split.
Nope.
Queen's Gambit.
Nope.
There's other stuff.
Yeah.
She's been in a ton of stuff. She just kind of Last Night in Soho.
Nope. Man, what do you do all day? You just sit around and watch movies all night?
I used to.
Well, she did a great job in this movie.
Yeah, she's great.
She played a great role, and it was a very well-written character.
Yeah, she's great.
She did a great job. I mean, just look at that expression on her face.
Yeah.
Her beautiful, beautiful face.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
So, but one thing I actually have an issue with, before we get back to the actual review of the movie, is this score on Rotten Tomatoes. 76% audience score, 89% from the critics, which it's certified fresh, which I agree with, but I think those should be higher. Those should be higher scores, because this is a good film.
I think
it's a good film in the aspect that, it doesn't fall into any of the traps of cinema within the last 10 years.
I think 89% is a really good score for Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, that's basically 9 out of 10 people liked it. And how many? 300 reviews? You know what I mean? It's not for everyone. And also, I think it's considered fresh if it's 60 and above. So.
Nah. This should be up there with Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, maybe. I really like the movie. I've seen better horrors. I've seen better horror comedies.
You seen better what?
Horror movies.
Horror?
Horror.
All right, it sounded like you said horse.
I've seen better horrors. She's a whore.
Turn it off.
In the movie, she's a whore.
All right. Well, you did say spoilers. That's a big spoiler.
I don't know how many times I can say this. We're spoiling the fuck out of this movie.
Then go ahead and spoil it. Then let's. I'm
not trying to.
I'm gonna. Hey, listen. Let me adjust this real quick. Eesh.
All right. So, oh yeah, that's right. We watched it already. Yeah. All right. So, you liked it. I liked it a lot, right? We both liked it a lot. Was there anything that? Because you're surprised that the tomato score is so low. I think it's actually.
I don't think that it's low. I think it's lower than it should be. I think it should be higher.
But there has to be some criticism. There have to be some things that you weren't too crazy about. Or did you just...
Well, first let me tell you what I liked about it.
Okay.
First what I liked about the movie is, one, it's the character development. There's good character development. Like, all these everybody that you see on the screen, they have a backstory, and their backstory is discussed. It is talked about. You become involved with every person on the screen, I would say, with the exception of the chefs in the kitchen,
right.
Save 2. And the hostess. So 3.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because, okay. Yep.
So, most of the cooks and the chefs in the kitchen are just there. But you get the story of 3 of them, and obviously the main character, Ralph Fiennes, the chef, what he's all about. But it's not all just, it's done through revealing, right? But you do get to know the story behind every single person there, and why they're there and what they're about, and everybody has a fault,
mm-hmm.
And it is exposed throughout the course of this meal. So I think that's great. Character development, a great story, a sound story, because visually, this movie is not anything spectacular. I mean,
it was recorded in one place. It was recorded in one place, so it's not like Well, okay, no, keep going. I take that back.
You're right for the most part. Yes, the setting is a restaurant and outside the restaurant and a dock.
But I will disagree with you on visually. When they show the food, that they make, like it looks. I would never eat that crap, right? But it looks so goddamn fancy, like the shit you see on cooking shows.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? And I think
I agree.
That's the main visual part of it. You don't need crazy effects. You don't need these sweeping shots. The food is the thing. The food is the main thing. The menu, the stuff on the menu,
right,
is the main stuff. And they do a great job of showing it off. Like it looks awesome. It looks cool.
Agreed. So to that aspect, but I guess when I said, not visually stunning, I mean, it's not like obviously it's a different genre movie, but it's not like a summer blockbuster, it's not like Avatar, right? Where visually, like your eyeballs are just going crazy. But that's not relevant to the story.
Right.
So characters I loved.
I got to disagree with you on the characters.
You didn't think they were developed well?
I thought some were. I thought Chef was probably the least developed one. As much as I like Ralph Fiennes and what he did in the movie and his acting and his portrayal of the character, I just like it didn't. Sure, there's like photos of him, like when they finally find like his thing, like there's photos of him and everything like that of what he used to do in the past and everything like that. But there's not enough of like there's not enough telling you how he went from that to a person that's going to take out a restaurant full of people and his own chefs. On top of that, adding to that, who the hell are these chefs and why do they have such
blind devotion
that they literally let themselves get set on fire or blows his head off?
Right. Well, yeah, but that's what makes it. That's the / horror part of the movie, right?
True,
where things like that can happen.
But it never explains. It never explains.
No, it does not. But that doesn't have anything to do with Ralph Fiennes. I mean, like, so you were saying that.
I'm saying that's bad character development.
Well, you can't develop, 30 characters. They did a great job developing 15 of them.
You don't need to develop every single chef. You could have developed a group. All you needed to do was put something in there as to why they're so devoted to this guy. But there's no reason given. They're just there because he wants them to cook. I don't know. It's fine. It didn't detract from the movie. It didn't detract from. I still enjoyed it a lot, but like I got to criticize what where there's criticism, where there's stuff lacking, and it's just developing characters was not one of its strong suits.
I disagree 1,000%. They developed characters well. But Ralph Fiennes, like he's kind of the straight man. He's the character that everything is centered around, and that is moving us through the story.
But how did he get to that point?
Well, it's because he was a great chef. I mean,
it's
obvious.
We know
because,
this
but because they tell you that at the end. He had a financier. These guys right here work for the financier of Old Boy.
Right.
So, it was, as we know about cooking, right? And you don't just graduate from culinary school and then boom, you're charging $2,000 to play at your fancy restaurant in the middle of a private island.
Right.
So you have to have somebody that believes in you and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So that's his backstory. We don't need to know like where he learned how to cook and his first restaurant and blah, 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 right? There are certain things in any story that you can just accept because he's a world-class chef. These people are paying a lot of money to be there. So we can accept that he would probably have devoted followers, employees, and they do make a very good point of saying that this is cultish, right? Because they show at the start of the movie where all the sous chefs and executives, like the line cooks, sleep. It looks like something out of the Khmer Rouge or frickin' Jonestown.
Yeah, they do say it's like
they're in the military. They got
like
cots and they lay there, so they have a cultish devotion to this man.
Yeah.
So, and they say that early on in the movie. So it's easy to accept and believe to a degree that, they would willingly, sacrifice themselves.
Yeah, he obviously had them, on a short leash, right? I mean, the clapping, the "we love you, chef," and all this stuff. So I would have kind of maybe liked to have seen in flashbacks how it got to that point, or the main thing of this is that he just despises what he's doing and the people he's doing it for.
He's lost his passion.
And he despises that. But at some point, you had to make conscious decisions to get to this point, right? So maybe just a little bit of filler would have helped. Again, it's fine. The movie's great. It's so good that I don't need to have all of that to enjoy it. But it would have been nice to flesh it out a little bit. So, with that being said, can I get to my favorite thing?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was keeping you.
No, you're not keeping me.
Shit. Here, I'll be right over here.
All right, yeah, you keep looking. Oh. Man, it looks pretty funny when you're turned that way.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. Like I said, I like the movie. My favorite part of the movie, Nicholas Hoult. That guy was awesome.
Beast.
Awesome. Yeah, beast. He was awesome. He played such a great D-bag, and maybe you wouldn't consider him a D-bag. I would. I mean, the guy is just a goddamn snob. He's just, don't smoke. You're not going to be able to taste that correctly. Or, you wouldn't appreciate this flavor because you're, whatever. Like, you don't know that she's a hooker at the time, but you find out eventually. So all this insinuating that she's just some...
See, but so I agree with you, but I would say that he doesn't start out as a D-bag. Like, yeah, he asked her not to smoke as they're waiting to get on the boat. But he's trying to say, like, no, it'll be worth it. Like, this food is going to be amazing. You don't want to sully your palate.
Fair enough. But
food snob, yes. But his development into, a D-bag comes much later in the movie. So you don't really know what his motivations are. And then when you find him out, you're like, holy fuck, this guy's a monster.
But even besides that, like, I remember the part where the chef comes out, not the main chef, the other one, comes out and just blows his brains out. You know? Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's, oh my God. And he's just like, this is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
That's the fanboy, right?
Yes,
fanboy.
Yes.
And where they're given the chance to, like, run for their lives. And he's just standing there, and the chef goes, that means you too.
Yeah.
And then he takes off, and the last guy found, like, he's given a...
Well, and that's another one of my favorite parts.
He's taking all the food to his table.
Yeah.
Now he's just like, oh, man, I just want to eat all this.
Yeah.
But
that's another one of my favorite parts before we move on, is that the chase scene is fine, but it's, the last guy caught, the guy just reaches in there, he's like, this is for you for being the last person that, and I'm just like, this is great. That's funny as hell. Like, it's not, like, I know it's called a comedy. It's not funny in many parts, but the parts that are, like, they just stand out that much more.
Absolutely.
It's great.
They
use it sparingly.
It's, and it's semi-suspenseful, or, like, I would call it more a drama, and so that's, like, come to my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, tell me.
And how the story brings all the people together. All right, so here's the financier douchebags.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can jump. All right, this is the fucking critic and her lackey editor at the newspaper or magazine or wherever she works.
Yeah.
And there was Leguizamo. He's the washed up actor.
I like how Leguizamo's playing like almost himself.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? It's and it's done intentionally. Like, it's not a dick thing to say. Like, I wouldn't consider him washed up, but he's also not very, like, big right now.
No.
So he's kind of playing himself like a little elevated. You know what I mean? But yeah, great.
And so here's the foodie, guy that posts every meal on Instagram guy, and she's a prostitute. She's a whore.
You don't know
that he brought. You don't know it at the time because this is the start of the movie.
Right.
Who else are we missing here? Let's get.
Well, Leguizamo and his assistant.
You got the
old couple. You got the old couple that she recognizes.
I'm trying to find.
You said who, so I thought I'd answer.
Well, I know who. I'm trying to see if we can see him. Chef. There is an elderly couple, very rich. Everybody's rich. Yeah. There's an elderly couple that's there. Is that everybody? So basically, every segment of the foodie world is represented in this movie, right? You got this guy who's just there to take pictures and put it on Instagram and put it on his social media accounts. You got the elderly couple that's so rich that they've been there, what they say, 11 times. It's an exclusive restaurant, but they've been there 11 times and they have no idea. They don't even fucking care. Right. They were challenged at one point in the movie, like, what was the last, name one thing that you've ever eaten here? Yeah. And they couldn't. They just said, fish? What kind of fish? You got the three rich Wall Street assholes. Yeah. You got the washed up, faded actor and his assistant. Yeah.
That's it.
And that's it. Right? So you have, the critic. Did I say the critic? The critic and the critic and her editor at the magazine or the newspaper or whatever, right? So you have the worst segments, worst kinds of people that will go into a restaurant for whatever reason to eat, right? They're not necessarily there. I don't know, how to explain it. Like the critics there just to tear it apart.
Yes.
This
does through almost everything.
This guy's there just to put it, for the status. The Wall Street assholes are there for the status. The rich people are there just because they're rich. They're like, I don't know, this is where we go. Like, all right, it's expensive, so let's go.
To give this guy credit, he actually appreciates what the chef does.
He does appreciate it.
He appreciates what the chef does.
Yeah, yes, but he's just there for the social media clout.
I don't think so.
And the food. He's a foodie, so he wants everybody to know
he's a foodie. But
he's a foodie, but he can't cook.
Well, that's
brought to light. All right, so but then there's also the washed up actor that's there, also there for the status. Who's trying to.
I'd say he's probably there more for the status than this guy. He's here. He actually appreciates what the chef does. He goes into this knowing full well he's going to die.
But he's the dickhead that you walk in, when you're sitting in a restaurant that's going like this, taking pictures of his food all the time, like that.
Yeah,
honestly, that doesn't really bother me a whole lot on his face, but I do find it annoying. You gotta let everybody know that you're sitting at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
That's not his only shtick. Like, he's not just the douche that takes pictures. He actually knows what he's talking about. He appreciates what the chef does.
Yeah, but he's all theory, no practice, right? He appreciates and he knows, but he can't do it, and that's what the chef despises about him the most.
Yes, you're correct.
Because he does, when he puts him to that test, he's like, here, come cook for everybody. And he's just like, lamb, onions. Yeah, well, and
the best part throughout the movie, every course, it's like this beautiful, like, picture of it, right? And it's like the description and everything like that. And then when he cooks it, and I didn't expect it, it got a laugh out of me. They put his, like, meal on the plate, and it's like Tyler's bullshit. Like, shit ingredients. Yeah. And I'm just like, I love it. I love it, man. I love that part.
And the other, part really it's kind of mystery, right?
Yeah.
That you get from the beginning. So this scene right here.
Yes.
He's asking her, who are you?
Yes.
Who are you? Because when they get off the boat and they're going up to the
ferry.
The maitre, it's not the maitre d', whatever, the chick. I don't know. They're checking in with her. I don't know why I'm blanking on this. The hostess, thank you very much. They're checking in with her, and the dude she's with, he's like, well, this is not, Miss Jones, this is Miss Smith.
Right.
I had a last minute cancellation. I know you don't take singles, blah, blah,
Yeah.
So the chef is instantly annoyed when he sees her walk in. He's like, who are you? Because he knows. Like, he knows that she's not supposed to be there.
He's got her.
Why are you here?
Right.
Absolutely.
The more of that just he's got her figured out. He knows. He doesn't know who she is. He knows what she is.
No.
He knows what she. Well, not
he doesn't know
by what. I mean, like in the Vegas sense, where
all he knows is she's out of place.
Well, out of place. Out of place with them.
Correct.
Out of place with them.
Correct.
So.
Correct.
All right. Well, we talked about how much we like it. I talked about my negatives. I don't know that you really had any.
Do I have any negatives? Because I usually do.
You don't. I don't. I mean, you haven't mentioned it. Have
you keep yapping and let me think about that for a second.
I'm yapping. All right. Yeah.
Oh, here's a negative.
Yeah.
Actually, the tortilla scene.
You didn't like it?
Where? Can I?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I have a question. I have an answer. Because the tortilla scene made me think that there was like perhaps something supernatural going on, which is why I like the story. Because they're having, what was it, like just chicken tacos or something, chicken thigh tacos, something. I mean, something basic, but I'm sure it was amazing. But every tortilla that was served to all the people had an image on it, like a engraved, laser burned image on the tortilla.
Things that they were not proud of.
Correct. But there was real-time images of Fanboy Douche taking pictures of his meal when he was specifically asked not to.
Yeah.
So that they had to have just taken that picture
put it on there.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
They had to have just taken that picture and put it on the tortilla. All right. And then there was on the old couple's tortilla a picture of her, who is a prostitute,
with the old man.
So if she wasn't supposed to be there, if they didn't know that she was going to be there, didn't know who she was, how the hell did they come up with pictures of her with the old man? Right?
Right.
So kind of maybe a little bit of a gap there. But at the same time, that's why it gave me like maybe this like little supernatural thing. Like, I don't know, like what kind of horror movie is this? Is it like, is this guy the devil? So that plays into
considering the ending.
Right. That plays into me with, good story and good storytelling, development of characters. So like, you don't really know their motivation, right? So you don't need to know what happened to him in grammar school, that, his teacher touched his beehole or something, right? So he's still having a little bit of mystery.
Yeah.
It's still good, right? I'm sorry I took it to that place. I don't know I had to do that.
One of us has to. Yeah, I agree with you.
Now you may speak.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that was a big hole. I mean, they explained it away by we have a 3D printer or something like that, or
3D, I don't think I've ever heard that.
3D tortilla maker or something.
An assumption that I made.
They had some kind of laser that engraved the tortillas. But you're right, that doesn't explain how they knew to save a picture of her with the old guy to use now, not knowing that she'll ever come back there.
Right.
Because I'm assuming that the old guy had reservations for both of them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's definitely a plot hole. And this, again, I don't know that it has a couple. I just think that there's some things that they didn't dive into as deep as they could have. Well, like I said, the characters, some of them, not all of them, some of them. But it is almost a 2-hour movie. How much more do you want to cram in there? I think it was just the right amount of time. Yeah, that part right there. I think it was just the right amount of time for it. It was an hour 45 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is great. I think you start putting it to 2.5 hours, and I think that would have been a stretch.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't need, honestly, any movie that's not Dances with Wolves that's over 2 hours long. Like, I don't need it.
Right.
I don't need it. And especially in, this genre. I mean, this is not an epic, right?
No.
Epics can be 2 to 3 hours long. Right. Not something like this.
Right. So, I don't know.
Cobra Kai could be 3 hours. I'd watch it.
Well, it is. It's like 8 hours a season now. Well, like I said, wrapping it up, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It's hard for me to recommend because
I think you should recommend it.
I think I would recommend it. I just think it's going to be. I want to say it's a divisive movie, but maybe not. Maybe not. Like it's not a movie.
What's divisive? This freaking chair.
I think like if you're a foodie, you might like it. I think you'll definitely appreciate it if you're like one of those food channel people that watches like Top Chef and shit like that.
They'd probably hate it because it exposes them.
No, I think
yes, because this guy is that he is the embodiment of, you know, the food paparazzi, food, you know.
I disagree.
Food crowd.
I think they would enjoy it because what this shows is that they love the art of the culinary art, right? They love it. They don't want it to be used for them, for people like that. You know what I mean? And I think this movie kind of goes like, I am making this for the wrong people. I am making all this for the wrong people. They don't appreciate it. They don't enjoy it. I think so. Yeah, I think so. But that's just my opinion. I love it. I think people should see it. I don't know. It's hard for me to say who. I wasn't even sure that you'd like it when I hit you up.
I liked it. I mean, definitely a strong 1.5 thumbs up. You know, not the best movie I ever saw, but definitely one of the best recently. Yeah. You know, it was entertaining. It was engaging. Yeah. I'll probably go back and watch it again. You know, because I bet there's going to be other things in there that were missed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's not a skin surface movie. It's not super deep, but there's more. It's not like watching John Wick. You know,
right? And
it's a good.
I'm sure you'll get a little bit out of a repeat viewing. Not much, but I'm sure there's some things. Like I said, like I think about my boy Tyler, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that explains why he was acting. You know, and
which one's Tyler? This guy? This is Tyler?
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult.
See, I don't even remember the names. See, look at you. You're a way better movie watcher than I am.
Jeff Slavic, Tyler, Largo.
Slavic?
That's his name, right?
Slowick, that sounds better.
Is it? Slowick. Yeah, Slowick. Okay, I was close.
You just made me think of... All right. Oh, you just made me think of The Burbs.
The Burbs.
It's on HBO Max now. The Burbs from... I mean, it's got to be like 1989.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, Rick Dukeman, Bruce Dern. Who else? Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher. The Burbs. All right. If you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. There's a.
All right.
No, hold on. No, I got to get to that. There's a line in it. He's like, Klopek. What is that, Slavic?
All right. 1.5? 1.5 thumbs up?
1.5.
You got a sideways half? I'd say that's a half.
I do my half.
Because it's a half up. If you do this.
Either way. I enjoyed the menu.
I did too.
Luke enjoyed the menu.
Yeah, absolutely.
Write this down because it might be the last time ever that we agree on a movie. Ever.